I want you to picture this. Imagine you open your bathroom cabinet and you find a pill that costs less than your morning latte, yet might tip the odds that you reach 95 with a clear mind, a strong heart, and joints that still let you climb a mountain. Too good to be true? Maybe, but maybe not. Give me 10 minutes and I'm going to walk you through the strongest evidence, the loudest objections, and even a popular over-the-counter cousin called Berberine, so you can decide whether one deserves a spot in your longevity playbook. So let's start with the context. Right now, billions of dollars chase headline-grabbing anti-aging ideas. Stem cell vacations, hyperbaric oxygen pods, peptides that sound like Star Wars droids. And yet the most credible candidate for slowing aging might be sitting quietly in the $4 generic shelf of every neighborhood pharmacy. Metformin has been a reliable first-line therapy for type 2 diabetes since the mid-1990s in the United States, and decades longer elsewhere. While doctors were busy lowering blood pressure, epidemiologists kept spotting an eyebrow-raising pattern. People taking metformin outlived folks who never had diabetes in the first place. And that single observation, it flipped a switch in longevity research and kicked off the ambitious TAME trial now underway. So my goal today is simple. I want to show you why that observation matters, how the biology makes sense or doesn't, and how to balance potential upside against documented downsides. And by the end, you'll have a framework you can carry straight to your physician or stash for later. So first, a quick origin story. Medieval healers brewed tea from French lilac to treat what they called sweet urine. Fast forward to 1957. French physician Jean Stern isolates a safer derivative, names it metformin, and publishes data showing it tames blood sugar without dangerous lows. France approves it immediately. The US waits until 1995. Then embraces it so enthusiastically that hundreds of millions of patient years now testify to its safety. And mechanistically, metformin tells the liver to churn out less glucose. It nudges muscle and fat cells to welcome insulin, and at a microscopic level, it flips on an enzyme called AMPK. Think of it as the body's low battery repair mode. And activating AMPK, it dials down the growth-promoting mTOR pathway. It ramps up cellular housekeeping, autophagy, and it tamps down chronic inflammation. And in rodents, that combination extends life modestly. And in humans, we have correlations. In fact, a 2014 UK database study showed that diabetics on metformin outlived matched non-diabetics, even after adjusting for weight, smoking, and income. So enter the TAME trial, Targeting Aging with Metformin, led by Dr. Nir Barzilai. 3,000 adults aged 65 to 99. Non-diabetic, randomized to metformin or placebo for 6 years. Endpoints: heart attack, stroke, cancer, cognitive decline, and death. One pill, multiple outcomes. If metformin delays these events meaningfully, it could become the first drug the FDA recognizes for targeting the biology of aging itself. The results are still a couple years off, but the protocol alone is already reshaping how future longevity drugs will be tested. Now let's pivot to berberine, a yellow alkaloid extracted from plants like barberry and Oregon grapefruit. Social media headlines call it nature's Ozempic. Dramatic, yes, but the compound is compelling. And like metformin, berberine activates AMPK, though it seems to actually hit the mitochondrial power plant even harder and also retunes the gut microbiome in ways that improve insulin sensitivity. And unlike metformin, it actually lowers LDL cholesterol by stabilizing the liver's LDL receptor mRNA. A fancy way of saying it clears bad cholesterol a bit more efficiently. Meta-analyses show a 5 to 15% LDL drop and mild triglyceride improvements, handy for folks with mixed lipid problems. Advantages: you can buy it off the shelf, no prescription, and it blunts post-meal glucose spikes by slowing carb absorption in the gut. But the downsides: the bioavailability is terrible. Less than 1% of you swallow reaches the bloodstream. So manufacturers add black pepper extract or liposomal coatings with little oversight. Quality varies widely, and berberine actually inhibits CYP3A4 and P-glycoprotein, enzymes that clear many prescriptions. That means it can accidentally boost statin or immunosuppressant levels. And long-term safety: a handful of short trials and centuries of anecdote, but nothing approaching metformin's mountain of data. Oh, and price: high-quality berberine can run 10 times the cost of metformin at an equivalent effective dose. So here's the quick scoreboard. So where does berberine shine? Modest LDL and triglyceride reductions, easier access, and decent post-meal glucose control. And where metformin still wins: rock-solid clinical safety, consistent purity, hard endpoint data, and lower cost. If you're flirting with prediabetes and statins give you muscle cramps, berberine might earn a 3-month trial, provided you choose a third-party tested brand and loop in your pharmacist. But if your aim is proven risk reduction across heart disease, cancer, and dementia, metformin's evidence remains stronger. Now let's address the elephant in the room. First, muscle gain. So in a 2019 randomized trial, they found that older adults gained roughly 1/3 less muscle after 12 weeks of resistance training if they were also on metformin. If preserving strength is your top priority, that matters. On the flip side, metformin's cardiovascular benefit may outweigh a small hit to the bicep circumference once you pass 60. Second, vitamin B12. Metformin can slowly drain B12 stores. Checking a blood level every couple of years and supplementing it if needed is cheap insurance. Berberine doesn't show that issue, but it does bring GI side effects at comparable frequency. About 1 in 5 users notice nausea or constipation. And third, purity in interactions. Metformin is FDA regulated, so pill-to-pill consistency is tight. Berberine lives in supplement land, where labels can be, let's say, aspirational. And because berberine gums up drug-metabolizing enzymes, you really do need to run a medication interaction check, even though it's natural. Finally, the data gap. Metformin boasts observational survival curves and the ongoing TAME trial. Berberine has rodent lifespan hints, but zero hard human mortality data. That doesn't mean it won't help. It means we can't quantify the help yet. So here's a quick checklist. First, you need a metabolic snapshot. Hemoglobin A1C, fasting glucose, LDL, and triglycerides. You also want to take a look at organ function. This includes things like creatine for kidney health, as well as ALT and AST for the liver. And lifestyle foundation. Diet, regular movement, 7+ hours of sleep. Pills polish, they don't replace. If you lean metformin, you start at 500 milligrams once daily with dinner, and you want to bump to 500 milligrams twice daily if tolerated. Extended release versions cut GI upset. Recheck B12 at year 2. Cycle off on heavy lifting days if maximizing muscle is mission critical. And if you lean berberine, choose a brand with USP, NSF, or consumer lab testing. Typical dose is 500 milligrams 2 to 3 times daily before meals. Track lipids and liver enzymes after 3 months. And you want to watch for drug interactions, especially statins, cyclosporin, tacrolimus, or some antidepressants. And lastly, you want to reevaluate. If fasting glucose or LDL numbers don't budge after 12 weeks, rethink the plan rather than doubling doses blindly. And you need to remember, metformin for non-diabetic longevity is off-label. Berberine is technically just a supplement, but supplements can bite when combined with prescriptions. Bring your doctor and pharmacist into the conversation early. So what are the final takeaways? Metformin is cheap, widely available, and backed by unprecedented long-term safety data in humans. Observational studies link it to lower cardiovascular events, some cancers, and possibly dementia. The TAME trial will tell us if that signal holds in healthy older adults. Next, berberine offers a non-prescription path to milder glucose control, plus better lipid numbers. But quality varies, and human survival data are absent. They both activate AMPK, yet their ancillary effects differ. Metformin's strengths lie in large-scale data and regulatory purity. Berberine's appeal is improved cholesterol and easier access. Side effects overlap. GI complaints are common, but metformin can deplete B12 and berberine can tangle with other medications. And neither pill replaces the heavy hitters. Nutrient-dense eating, consistent strength and aerobic training, and restorative sleep, as well as stress management. Think of these compounds as potential amplifiers, not foundations. So that's the landscape: prescription, supplement, and everything in between. And if you found this content helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.